Yeah. Testing, testing. Testing on this. Testing on that. There it goes.
Testing. Let's see.
We need more light in here.
Yeah, we do.
It's hard to put eyeglasses on. Well, the strap isn't here. The D rings aren't here. There they are. There it is. You can't even see my face at all. I dropped something.
Oh, nothing of mine. Oh, just the bag for the helmet.
Yeah, that's better. Makes my head. It feels like it's a bigger helmet than uh the sock monkey says. Hello guys, thank you for your donation. It feels like a larger helmet than a traditional motorcycle helmet, but maybe that's just because it's open face and I see how small my face is.
Hmm.
It doesn't. Well, it does feel a little heavier. I don't know, but this was given to me by Arai of America. So thank you, Arai. I did not pay for this racing helmet, but I will be using it in a. Juliet fell out of a tree on the day of her sister's wedding.
Hmm.
Juliet was just climbing a tree and fell out of it. I think I'm getting the story
Uh,
right or wrong.
oh, did we? Are we back? All right. Sorry.
No, did we have five? Did we?
Yeah.
No. Let me look over and you can see the router over there. The router's fine.
All right. Now we're back. There
All
we go.
right.
Back.
So anyway, yes, thank you, Arai. Didn't even do the countdown yet.
Well, yeah. Till the hold for sound.
Yeah, we didn't even do that
This shirt pattern is doing me no favors.
yet. Okay, you ready to hold for sound?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to RCR Podcast number 67. I'm Nick.
I'm Brian, and
We've
I
been,
was Judge Dredd in the beginning for those who are watching.
yeah, with the new motorcycle helmet you got and open face motorcycle helmet from Arai, the fine folks.
Thank you
And
again at the Rye, just for stupid uh litigious reasons. It is not a motorcycle helmet. It is an auto racing helmet, and I will not be using it on a motorcycle. Arai's been good to me. They gave me a motorcycle helmet, and now they gave me a auto racing helmet because I need to get with all the other uh, automotive journalists and learn how to race a car. So I will. I'll be going down to Harris Hill, back down to Austin. I Unfortunately there won't be a car meet. It's a learning trip for me.
yeah,
Probably a lot of time in a Miata. Maybe I'll be back in that 997 Shark Works. But thanks to Rye and thanks to having a very protective helmet, I will. Oh, I didn't even say the name of the model. Uh, I will be feeling safer and hopefully a little braver. The model is a GPJ3. That is, oh, I don't even know what the phonetic G is.
hmm.
Giraffe? Now I have to go look at what the phonetic alphabet says G is.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to do the quick explanation of why we haven't been around doing the podcast. Other than being busy, I actually had a procedure done because, hypochondria and hearing all these weird things about skin cancer. And I've had this mole on my nose for like 14, 15 years. So I went to go have it looked at. You probably can't see it from here. It doesn't really matter if you see any pictures of me or any close up stuff. Like it was there. Now it's gone. Now but I had like a hole in my face for like 2 weeks. And yeah, sure, I could put a band aid over it, but they're like, you should not do that, I guess. Like just put the antibiotic ointment on it. You're fine. But I don't know. It's like a weird cosmetic thing, which is stupid. I know it's silly, but and that's not the only reason. It's that I've been we've both been working on various videos that we have to get done by a certain time. Like you needed like everything done before you left for Harris Hill, and I needed all my stuff done before I leave for New York Comic Con. So that means by Wednesday of next week, I'm leaving for New York Comic Con next Thursday. And so I had to have my new RCR stories ready to post next Wednesday. And I did a review of a 90s car that is from a now defunct company that we've never done before. And so that's a review that will come possibly a week or two after. So,
Oh, Bezos, you crafty SOB.
what do you do?
I had my Amazon Fire jailbroken. So I didn't have to, it didn't connect to Amazon. And now, whatever software in here learned to work its way around my jailbreak, and it wants my Amazon password.
Oh, that's
I was able to turn this thing into an Android, just an Android device,
yeah.
which it is. And now it just get me to the freaking death. Not now. Can I not now skip my registration? Yes, please skip it. Take it to my. All right. I think we're good.
All right, awesome. Did you find out what the G is?
Golf.
Golf.
So the name of this helmet is a GPJ3. That is Golf Papa Juliet 3.
But yeah,
I'm trying to get to the chat here so I can.
Yeah, because it's weird because like the live chat in the that we can see on the laptop screen isn't
It's
moving at
frozen,
all. It's
yeah.
frozen. Like the stream is still up, so it is what it is.
Okay, I got it on my
But,
tablet. Matt, the first one I see, Matt. Grontarchik.
Oh, Gontarchik?
Damn it. I
Oh.
used to be a substitute teacher. I used to be able to get names immediately.
Well, no, because I know the guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I met him. He was in my hometown once and recognized me. And then we ended up getting like
Did you go to high school?
No.
Ah.
Like literally just from RCR.
Ah.
So yeah. Good guy.
What are your thoughts on the new Land Rover Defender? I don't have thoughts because I haven't seen it in real life. And don't feel obligated to pronounce my difficult Ukrainian last name. I should have been able to get it immediately because there's tons of Ukrainian families around here. Like mostly that's middle PA, like German, Ukrainian, and a bunch of Eastern Europe stuff. Sorry, Matt. But thank you for your donation. And
I'm trying to find the 2020 Land Rover Defender. Like it's part of this weird trend where I guess cars need to have more of a face than they already do.
yeah,
Because like, look at this thing. It's like, why? Why do you need to look like that?
I think Mopar started it when they gave the angry headlights to the. And for people who are just listening to, I'm just putting the awry helmet back in its nice box. I think it started with the Challenger when they made the low eyebrow headlights, and then everybody loved that. So manufacturer C, manufacturer do. Now they all do it. It's an extension of the angry headlight sort of thing. I am drinking Dan Aykroyd's vodka, the Crystal Head, and yes, it's because I heard Dan Aykroyd on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Very nice.
And like I'm not a vodka guy at all. I always thought vodka was just a base for college drinks, like party drinks. But then I heard Joe going on and on how this doesn't taste like the vodka he remembers, and I'm like, all right, I'll bite.
Yeah.
I'll buy the tiny bottle. I mean, not the airplane bottle, but
Like the smallest one
yeah,
that
the
they'll
750. They sell it in like a gigantic head for
yeah.
$90. But then they
There
do
you
sell
go.
a normal 750 of it. So I bought the 750. And I'm like, oh, and I was talking to you about this on Facebook. Like, this doesn't have that stank, that
Yeah.
stink.
The weird bite
Yeah,
that
I mean, do you
like
want all this is seltzer water, lemon, and vodka.
yeah, it doesn't taste like
Right.
anything.
It doesn't have that Nikolai 100.
Yeah.
You're drinking jungle juice or whatever at
Yeah.
the party. God, I remember that. Like the cranberry and vodka, but you got to load it up on cranberry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, you're not exactly getting top shelf stuff in college. I
No,
mean, and at your
Nikolai 100.
yeah,
It's
and that's
100 proof instead of 80.
like best case scenario
Yeah.
too.
Someone shows up with a bottle of Sky. You're like, whoa,
Yeah,
or Smirnoff.
and it's one of those things where you end up trying to find a way to get as messed up for as little money as you possibly can.
Oh, thank God
So
for Lion's Head.
yeah, exactly. No,
Lion's Head would fuck you up.
that's exactly how I was. Especially, it was great because it was $1.50 at the bar, and then you'd get like these little puzzles under the cap. It's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah, there was
Can't
that.
complain.
Um, I used to drink Goldschlager when I felt fancy. I didn't know that that was trash class booze. And sometimes they would have Thirsty Thursdays at the Kutztown Tavern and also downstairs at Shorty's. But because both of those businesses are the same thing, when they're doing dollar domestic drafts on Thirsty Thursdays, it was the microbrews upstairs. So you could be
Yeah.
drinking stout for $1.
Huh.
That was that is going to be one of my misty-eyed stories. And Matt Carlton was there, and where you got shit housed and woke up the next day fine.
Yeah.
At that unbelievable.
That
Like that's
insane
the I'm the new
endurance.
we were all X-Men there with
Yeah.
mutant healing powers.
Mm.
But the vodka is helping because I had a bummer afternoon because I was trying to fix different Matt Walsh's 1982 CB 900 Custom, which is an amazing looking motorcycle, and we were supposed to film it, but something's going on with the charging system. Matt, uh, I'll, actually no, it's a podcast. I'm going to spare you the story, but that's all podcasts are, stories. So something's going wrong with the bike and it isn't charging the battery. But we didn't know that, like, even when Matt bought the bike. And Matt was able to almost ride it to my house on solely the battery, on sole battery power,
Huh.
like battery discharging. And that's all the way from Lansdale. So he must have rode that thing like 48 miles on just the battery. Um, and I guess it kind of makes sense because the bike doesn't have a computer. All that battery has to do is run the headlight, tail light, maybe the turn signals, and keep the coil charged. That's it. So it made it all the way to Hamburg. But then he ran out of electricity in the
Mm.
parking lot of a Sunoco, across from Murphy Jewelers. And
Wait, like my Sunoco?
no, there, you know how we always go to the Wawa over there by Cabela's?
Oh
We got the
yeah,
Wawa
yeah.
over there. There's also a Sunoco on the other side of the street, a little ways down, behind the
Oh,
new
I know what you're talking
Starbucks.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So he runs out of electricity there. And fortunately, he had a trickle charger, but trickle chargers are for overnight, not for emergencies. So he was able to get some charge in the battery, but not enough to run the coil and ride it anywhere. So we were sitting there. What I should have done is just pulled the battery out of my motorcycle, drove down there, put it in his. That would have given him enough power to run the coil to get to my apartment. But we didn't. Called a tow van from Schaefer's. So shout out to Schaefer's. They towed. And um and I got, with my multimeter, we got continuity in between the stator plugs, and there was no continuity between the stator and ground. So my guess was the stator was good. So, just order a new rectifier. The rectifier came in 3 days. It arrived today. I put it in, no change. Like I put
Ew.
the multimeter and it's still, you're supposed to get like 13.75 volts is average, like 13 and a half, 13.75 volts. Which means there's more power going to the battery than what the battery holds, which means it's charging the battery.
Yeah.
It's not doing that. It's 12.12, which means the battery's discharging. Car
Yikes.
batteries and motorcycle batteries, yes, they are 12-volt batteries, but in fact, they're 12.5 to 12.75 volts. They hold a little bit more. And if they're anything less than 12.5, they're discharging, they're draining, which means you have a problem with the charging system. Motorcycles have alternators, but not in the same way cars do. The alternator on our camera car Goldie conked out when we were in Toronto.
Yeah.
No problem. Go get an alternator.
Yeah. That's part
Literally,
right
and
there.
because Subarus, all the EJ25s, they have their alternator right on top. You don't have to like old one out, in one in, tighten the belt, you're done.
Yeah.
Motorcycles hold their alternators inside the engine. And they're filled with oil. Like the engine oil washes around the alternator, and the alternator is not a complete unit. Like it's kind of without its shell.
Yeah.
In that the crankcase of the engine is the shell of the alternator. There is a rotor with this, which is the magnet that spins, and then the stator, which is the windings of copper coil, which stay. They don't move. So you spin a magnet and a bunch of copper wire, you get electricity. Of course, it's an alternator because a generator doesn't need power to generate electricity. You turn it, it makes power. An alternator is kind of weird. It won't make power unless power is going to it. It's sort of like an exponentially power generating thing. You first have to feed electricity to it, and then it spins, and then it makes even more electricity, and it makes alternating current, not direct current. And the regulator rectifier really the rectifier is what changes alternating current, which is what's coming out of the wall here, to direct current. That most of our electronics here is running off of your phone, your computer, the recorder, the tablet right here. They all run on direct current. So every one of these things has a rectifier in it to change the 110 volts of alternating current coming out of the wall. And that's also why, the little brick there of all the computer ones get so hot, because one of the byproducts of turning alternating current, which is really powerful, to direct current, which is kind of but safe to use. That's why you can take like a 9-volt battery and stick it to your tongue and it goes, and then nothing happens. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't burn you. Like I burned my thumb today. And actually, I think it's a bad idea because that is an electrical burn on my thumb of direct current when I accidentally shorted 2 wires together on Matt's bike and blew his main fuse. Sorry, Matt, I blew your main fuse, but you got a spare one in there, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And it's that bummer feeling where you've now you've reached the limit of your expertise in fixing something. I don't know how to fix this motorcycle anymore. I don't know how to diagnose a stator. Yes, there's tons of YouTube videos that show you how to do that. But, and this is like the core of RCR, all of the specific how to fix something, none of them can defy the Wadsworth constant So I'm skipping around in this video for this freaking Nimrod to stop yakking on about his life
Oh,
so I can get to the point where he tells me how to do the thing.
yeah, it's that thing of trying to learn how to do something on Premiere, and they need to give you the history of Premiere first.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, or how to do something in Audacity. It's especially when you're trying to do something in Audacity. I'm like, all right, how can I make it not terrible? And so it's like a complete how-to on how to make it not terrible.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why am I listening to this person go on about their weekend or their, you know, I don't know. It's prescription strength boredom.
Yeah.
But
Occasionally you
yeah,
get a good commenter that puts the timestamp like information begins at 8 minutes and 35
yeah.
seconds.
Oh, I forgot to mention the other reason for no podcast other than work mole. My car had to get new rear brake rotors.
Oh, new rotors in the back.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and so it took like basically I didn't have a car last week until we wrote
Ah,
last Friday. And it was just like for a week I didn't have a car, so it was this weird thing where because they're backed up, and I don't want to take it to another mechanic because I don't
mm,
trust other mechanics. Like when you have
a
your
guy.
guy,
Yeah.
you stick with your guy just because, and I always get like a thank you card from them like 2 days
Oh,
afterwards in the mail that is like 20% off the next time I go there.
yeah.
And then they give you a call like 3 days later to check up to see if everything's like working well.
That's really good.
Yeah, I know. It makes me worry that they're in some kind of trouble if they're, doing the neighborly thing so well at a,
Mm-hmm.
to be because they've been around forever, but it's not a chain.
You want to give a shout out to this place?
It's King's Auto Repair. Or it's called. And I in West Reading. And I went there uh like basically I got recognized like the minute I went in by one of
Really?
the mechanics. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know who you are." Like when I was telling him like explaining like, "Oh, mine's the red Mustang, whatever." He's like, "Yeah, I know." It's I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. That's cool." I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
didn't lead to any discounts, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting it to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice. My car's working fine, and I don't know. Everything's well.
Good.
How's a Falcon?
Falcon's making a weird noise out of the back. It's either wheel bearings or the drive shaft is rubbing in the tunnel. And because it's a larger drive shaft, it started doing it once when we were out working on Tony Airlines' Honda Beat.
Yeah.
And I thought it was more, I thought there just wasn't enough air in my air shocks in the back. So the guy who, Tony met someone on the Facebook group for Honda Beats in the US.
Huh. Nice.
And so we were out there holding flashlights while this guy from Facebook did all the work. And uh, um, we were riding around in a Falcon because we took a lunch break to Wawa, and then there was like a weird rubbing noise coming from the back. And turns out there was only 10 pounds of air in the rear shock, so we pumped it up to 30. And like, oh, I guess that stopped it. And then just the other day, there's still air in the back, but it's making that rubbing sound again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get underneath the car because it's the Falcon and it's a workhorse. I'm just gonna spray paint. I'm lightly spray paint, whatever, like part of the drive shaft and part of the tunnel, and then drive it around and come back and see if it burns that paint off through rubbing. I'll know if it's rubbing and where. And if it doesn't do it that way, I know the sound is coming from something else.
Mm.
I got tons of paint in my garage, and that's the Falcon breaks, but it's never broken. So I'm not overly concerned at all, whatever happens to the Falcon. So the Falcon is people have been asking for updates, but really there's nothing really wrong with it. So
Yeah.
I need to make a video at some future point. Like, here's what's up with the Falcon. Nothing. It's a Ford 5 liter. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. No
Or
news
just
is good news.
yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fords, that Riced Out Explorer says 2000 Ford Explorer, the official car of playing Keno at a strip mall.
Keno.
Yeah, it's the
The
new.
new lottery thing.
Yeah, it's not really gambling, but it kind of is in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I went to
Your
this.
whole family wears sweatpants.
There was last weekend. I stopped at this gas
Thank you
station
for your donation, by the way.
near the apartment, and it was like a Saturday night, and this gas station is like jumping. And I'm like, why are there so many people in here? There were video poker machines, like a wall bank of video poker machines, and they were just like everyone was spoken for. There was an ass in every seat, and I don't get it. Like on a Saturday night, why are you going to a gas station to play video poker? But I mean,
because you told your high school principal to go fuck his own face.
yeah. Well, I mean, these are
And that was
people.
your most glorious moment you had in your life. Now you're 31 years old playing video poker in oh, what gas station was it? You don't have to say it. I was gonna say the Sunoco, but
I actually don't remember if it's Sunoco
Sunoco or a
or
Turkey Hill.
yeah,
Was
like
it a chain or was it like
well, a chain here.
okay?
Like it would have been like there aren't any gas stations around here that aren't chains. I can't remember the last mom and pop sort of gas station that I saw around here.
Yeah, there used to be one on the way to Pottsville, but I forget if it's there. Occasionally, do you ever see U.S. Gas?
No,
It must have been a northern Pennsylvania thing.
maybe.
I remember that one place where we stopped for coffee on the way back from Toronto, and it was like there was a whole family behind the counter. I had a pee poop break. You were like in and out of consciousness,
Yeah.
and that felt like a independent gas station. But I don't think we stopped for gas there. I think it was just a because we stopped at gas at some Turkey Hill, but there was no bathroom in there. Like you had to go and there was no bathroom, so we went to the place down the road and then it did have a bathroom.
Yeah.
But that place had wood paneling. And I remember like the pizza rotisserie was rolling around and there was no pizza in it. And then the hot dog Ferris wheel was going around with one hot dog in it.
Just the last one standing of just kind of
Yeah.
surviving the weird
2 in
processing
the
years. Yeah.
afternoon. Oscar Myers holding out. And I was looking for just something nutritious in there. And I think I maybe found a Kind Bar and like no, I think I just got beef jerky. And I was pretty close to getting a Choco Taco, but I didn't get it.
Yeah, finding something nutritious in a gas station is those are pretty long odds unless it comes pre-wrapped,
Yeah.
some sort of protein bar.
Hurricane Ian, thank you for your generous donation. Can't stay long, but I was just talking to you guys, talking about. Let me start again. Can't stay long, but I was just talking about you guys. I'm in Ohio. I got a Huracan. Really?
Hmm.
Really? A Lamborghini Huracan. A CLS 63 AMG Jaguar E Pace and a Duramax. What is it you do, Ian? I don't think you guys have done any of those. If you're interested, DM me on Instagram, same name. Best way, Ian, and hopefully you're listening to this later, is regularcars@gmail.com. Your make, model, city, state in the title of the email, and in the body of the email, just name all that stuff. Also, city, state, where you are, and a working phone number. That is the best way to get in contact with us.
Oh, and I feel that reminds me of what I needed to address because I see it come up a lot in comments, whether it's on YouTube or the Facebook or something. Of I sent an email and I didn't get a response, and the understanding is like in a very like will the same is true of like the podcast, I suppose, of will let you know for the most part because there's no way to really know. We're not like podcasters per se. We more or less do this when we have the opportunity to do it. There's no real set schedule because it's just something we have to be in the mood to do in order to do it. Otherwise, we're just sitting here like zombies. So, but regarding the email thing, a lot of times we don't know. Oh, please do. Yeah, it's oh it happens. Boom. You're good. Yeah, it's ginger tea. So, yeah. Yeah, this is
Now
the
it's
coolest.
ginger tea with lemon in it.
This is like the coolest thing my mom got me is this little pump thing.
Yeah.
But the nature of the amount of time that it takes to do what we do means that we cannot literally get back to every single
Right.
email to let people know, no, we're not doing your car. Because I think for the most part, like people are fine if we don't do their car. It's just the understanding that like it's the not hearing back. And it's
Yeah,
like,
it's
and it
I'm
sucks.
sorry about that, but it's literally a time constraint.
Yeah. And also the other half of it is that, well, you know, why their car and not mine? It's sort of like I guess Sarah was hearing some of this on Monday when her video came out.
Huh?
And no, in the sense of like, well, I, emailed him however long ago from this distance and didn't hear back. And it's like, well, unless we are going to do the car, and that's a thing of like, we're not, maybe we don't do it, maybe you'll hear like in a week, a month, a year. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's not something that's right away.
No.
It's something when we are in the area or have that type of vehicle in mind, and mostly just a convenience factor,
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
distance and time.
And I know some people say, "I'm in Burlington, Vermont. I will drive to you." And my imposter syndrome will not allow that.
Yeah, well, and it's also that like we can't account for the type of weather. So like if it's rain, before we used to just film in rain and say screw it.
Yeah.
Now it's because we don't have to do that. We're not going
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
and so it's pointless for you to drive from Vermont if we don't know what the weather is going to be like until, like if you have this whole trip planned out, you took off from work, whatever,
Yeah.
and then the day comes and or the week comes and you find out like, well, it's going to be raining on that Thursday or
Yeah.
whatever day you took off. And so it's just the logistics of trying to keep people happy while also hopefully allowing them to understand that this is very time consuming, and to get back to even like half of the emails would be an entire day of like
Yeah.
editing. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up for reasons.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Question I think you can answer better than me because I think I only read one of his books.
Who is or what the thing?
Scrolling. Scrolling. Maybe you're commuting in the morning and you're listening to me. I'm thinking about your anus.
Sounded like a didgeridoo. What do y'all think of Fitzgerald? I assume F.
Yeah.
Scott Fitzgerald. I mean, Gatsby's good. He's a
Yeah, that's the only one I read.
he's a farewell to arms too, right?
And he's east of Eden, right?
No, that's Steinbeck. Yeah,
Ah.
I mean, it's he's a writer who does really well with capturing the contemporary moment. Like we have a lot of authors now who sort of set works in the past, in the far past, and not even like the immediate past, but like the far flung past, which I don't mind. That's fine. It's
Mhm.
just that at a certain point, um, a book is better representative of a certain cultural moment than most things, or
Mhm.
not most things, but some things.
Right.
And so if you have someone like a Fitzgerald or a Hemingway or even a Steinbeck who did some contemporary stuff and some historical, then you have more of a sense of the period of these books. Like Sister Carrie is a great
Yeah.
representation of what living was like in 1900,
Mhm.
like turn of the century. But by the same token, I mean, it's book authors who write into the past, base their works in the past. It's not like they have any less literary merit. I mean, Cold Mountain is amazing, whether it was written in like 2003 or whenever it was written, but it's, Civil War era. Like there's tons of great literature out there that represents and captures and encapsulates these moments that I don't know, they feel authentic and they feel true to life, but I also wonder if they're not as authentic and true to life as if it were coming from an author writing about it in the period in which it's happening.
Right.
So, it's that type of give and take. And Fitzgerald was a great writer at when it came to capturing his time period. I mean, the narratives are fine.
Yeah.
It's not something that I'm necessarily going to rank up there among like my greatest stories of all time. uh, Esoteric as to ward off potential readers, but
Right.
I think there's definitely merit in Fitzgerald's work and the way he constructs language and sentences, and but again, for me, it's more about just the way he captures things. So, yeah.
So the short answer, yes,
Oh, A
we've
Farewell to
read it.
Arms is Hemingway. There we go. I got that wrong. Disastrous. Um,
Chris Levin says, and thank you for your donation. Stolte LT makes any other vodka taste like jungle juice Smirnoff. Really? P.S. Still have the 2017 Explorer Sport if y'all are interested. Springfield, New Jersey. Thank you so much for offering up the Explorer Sport. What year's your mom's?
2016,
Oh, okay.
15,
All right.
one
Maybe
of
the
the
same
two.
model.
Might
But
be.
thank you. I do keep all emails on file as long as they're formatted correctly. Um, well, I'm interested in trying other vodkas now. Now that I saw it, it's a lot more than just sip and ouch. Is
Yeah.
how I thought of vodkas. And thank you so much for your donation. You're putting it toward our travel budget and also teaching Brian how to race a car and not be scared.
Mm.
Victorious asks, and thank you for your donation, swinging by for a bit before I head to the gym. Very happy with my recent 2019 Civic Sport hatchback purchase. Oh, very happy for you. Take care of yourself, gentlemen. Okay, not a question. And that's
Thank you.
perfectly fine that it's not.
Yeah.
Thank you, Victorious. And I'm glad you're happy with your man. You bought a 2019. You went right to the dealership and bought a Civic new. You are a rarity. I bought a Civic new. Wow. Bob, SEK 50, which also I think amounts to, $5 US. Off topic. If Mr. Regular and the Roman were pro wrestling characters, I think we went over this. What would be their signature moves? Also, faces or heels? I would probably be a heel. Um, because lately, I don't know, maybe I could be a face, but lately when I'm running out of energy at the gym, I switch to, and this is a lot of thanks to Nick's talk of pro wrestling and his love of it. I've switched to listening to people's walk-in music when I need that extra get up and go. And I remember I needed to do pull-ups. I didn't feel like doing it, but I put on the Macho Man Randy Savage, even though it's just pomp and circumstance. Something about queuing up that YouTube video and just seeing him
Yeah.
like this, like, all right, for Randy Savage.
Do it for the Macho Man.
And I think that's kind of neat with like 80s wrestling. Like people's theme music wasn't contemporary music. It was, I guess, just whatever was in public domain. And I kind of chose that. Well, I mean,
Well,
Hulk Hogan had Rick Springfield or
yeah, there are a lot of people, or a lot of pro wrestling was like the Wild West when it came to using licensed music as entrance music, and everybody has like conflicting stories on who was the first person to start using entrance music, but there are a lot of archival wrestling footage that's now been digitized
mhm.
that has to sub in music because of the licensing fees. Like
Ah,
the original theme for WWF Saturday Night's main event was Obsession by Animotion.
mm.
Like and
You're my obsession.
yeah, but it
Yeah.
was just like an instrumental track. I'm like, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. And but like they can't use that now. So they make up some, they use some stock thing that they have. And I think like Hulk Hogan used to come out to Eye of the Tiger because he was in
Really?
Rocky 3. And so
Okay.
he was Thunderlips. And there's that's kind of how it was. So but now they have like their own in-house music production team and their own people who do music. Jim Johnston, who did their music for years, retired this decade, I think.
Mhm.
And so now they get all their music done by this group called the CFOs,
Huh.
but the S is a dollar sign because of course it is. And it's just, it's one of those strange things where entrance music has sort of evolved by different standards so that not every entrance theme is going to necessarily pump you up. But
Oh.
as far as finishing moves go, I used to like do a lot of backyard stuff with my brother and my friends, and so I always used the rock bottom, like the uranagi, where you just like it's like a choke slam, and not really.
Oh.
With it, like you're grabbing like underneath the chin, and the arm is slung over your back, and it's almost but it's one of those things where I look back on it and I'm thinking like, how did we not kill each other? Because this was during the time where I think there was that one Tate kid who accidentally killed someone doing wrestling moves in like the late 90s. And so like we're all out there doing like the moves, but like we're doing them to each other for real. Like we're
Yeah.
not doing the fake, or we're not doing the pantomime,
Yeah.
and it's trying to sort of like understand how it is that you're supposed to work a wrestling match, because you're also trying to like put on a performance,
Yeah.
and so I always flip-flopped back and forth, but I liked being a heel too, just for
Mm.
like the promos of being like, I
Yeah.
yeah, I will tell you right now, if you think you've seen the best of what I can do, and let me tell you something else right now, is there's this belief that I've plateaued, and I'll tell you right now, I have not even begun to reach the plateau. When I reach the plateau, you'll know because I'll have jumped off of it. And when I jump off of it, I'm coming for you. When I'm done, yeah, it's like that type of thing. I'm just because I was still in the era of where half the videos that I watched were the really coked out, insane 80s promos of, just like, Sid Justice being like, Jack Tunney, what you did is bogus. Absolutely bogus.
Real life anime.
Yeah, that's really a good
Mhm.
description of it, because that's essentially the idea. Is, well, I mean, it's real life anime, but with like lousier continuity, because
Yeah.
the necessity of it as like live theater mixed with sport is that you can't keep 25 years of continuity going all the time, unless you're talking about like General Hospital or something, or
Right.
that's been on since time immemorial.
Right. The Undertaker has been around forever.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has. He's and he needs to retire
Yes.
desperately.
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's literally a crisis point right now of he needs to not be in the ring anymore
Mm.
for his like health and well-being. But it's a different.
Wyatt B asks, "Oh, my finishing move. The double butt. What's that move where they just jump and they just land like on their ass, but they're really not land. It's like some like drop thing, but they're really their legs are bent, so they're not really landing on the guy.
Yeah, that type of thing, like earthquakes finisher, where he just like would run off the ropes and then jump, sit jump.
Sit jump,
But
yeah.
like the name, I don't know that the move has a name. Like I know Doink the Clown used to use it, and he'd do it off the top rope, and he would call it the whoopee cushion.
Ah,
But other than that, it's like I don't know what the move's technical name is.
correct.
Yeah.
The sit butt. The butt drop.
I think that might actually be it, like the
Mhm.
butt drop,
Ah,
um, or hip attack. Well, no, hip attack's standing, but still.
what's next?
Oh, and there's
Off.
someone who Matt is dead in space. Said in my fourth week of auto tech school because of you guys.
No, thank
Congratulations,
you.
and thank you for the kind words. Happy
Thank
to
you.
help in some way.
Wyatt B says an alternator needs voltage to excite the windings before it can make alternating current. It's like priming a sump pump. Rectifiers are a series of diodes. Okay, rectifier is a series of diodes, and of course the regulator is just don't cook the battery. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. It needs voltage. This is like priming a sump pump. The pump needs water to pump water. Yeah.
Mm.
Wyatt B. Thank you. Thank you for your donation. I think I got a P, and the next one's a Nick question. No, it's
Nice.
not.
Oh, yeah.
Murray Machan Thasuk. Machanasuk.
Mm,
Macchanathasuk. Off to class. Also, my SC got skipped up top. Oh, okay. I gotta go. Unless there was that part where the computer wasn't working.
mm. Yeah,
Hate it
because it's
when
not
that
an
happens.
RCR podcast without technical difficulties.
Okay. Yeah, scroll back down. Matt, what's the first one? Hurricane Ion. Patrick Montgomery. That was the Fitzgerald question. Chris Stevens, got him. Victorious, got him. Bob, faces or heels. Wyatt B, alternator. Now we're back to Murray. Do you see it
I don't
way
see
in the
it.
beginning? Oh, I'm sorry, Murray.
Uh, mm.
I mean, I'd have to go into settings on the computer to find it, which means I really should do that.
Well, for now, re-ask it in the regular
No,
chat
he had to
if
go to
you're even
class.
here. Oh, he had to go to class.
Well, maybe people in the chat who have better access to it to us can like spam his his super chat that for whatever reason we're not seeing here. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Thank you for your donation.
Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate it. Okay, yeah, this is a Nick question, and
Right.
I'm gonna pee and re Crystal Skull.
Oh, very nice. Mostly for Nick. Thoughts on Robert Pattinson as Batman? I'm excited. Um, I've gotten to the point with Batman movies where I struggle to like I'll always be excited for one, but I think the constant rebooting of Batman is kind of old hat at this point, and I kind of wish they would sort of stick. But yeah, like I almost kind of think of it as a James Bond type thing where if you get to the point where you've told the story you want to tell with Batman, that's fine, but oftentimes like Christian Bale was the exception rather than the rule. For the most part, it's Batmen leaving mid-story in the middle of like an arc that maybe isn't completed. And so, you get it with Keaton, you get it with Kilmer, you get it with Clooney, you get it with Affleck, and now you sort of are in a place where you have to get acquainted with a recontextualization of Batman. It's the idea that all right, this wasn't the last one, and maybe he operates by a different set of rules and principles. And I have nothing wrong with altering continuities because different continuities are good. I like new, fresh takes on stories with which I'm familiar. That's why, like, I don't mind necessarily remakes as much as other people. But there comes a point in time where I think there's sort of diminishing returns. Now, with that said, I think Robert Pattinson will be a great Batman. Well, he'll act the hell out of it because he is a good actor. This is like ignoring all the Twilight stuff, and stuff like Remember Me, which but I don't know, like his intensity as an actor will sort of make him a very specific kind of Batman. Sort of like Joaquin Phoenix's energy makes him a very particular kind of Joker, where you're not getting necessarily the type of version of the character that you maybe envisioned when you think of that character. Like for me, there still isn't a definitive Joker in the sense that like what I want in a live action Joker is just a live action version of the Mark Hamill Joker that sort of looks that way. But there's no one with like I kind of want him to look like Alex Ross's drawing of the Joker and then act like Mark Hamill's version of the Joker. For me, that would be the perfect Joker. Now, granted, like there are people now who are saying Joaquin Phoenix's Joker is in the conversation for best Joker ever, but it's a completely different version from Heath Ledger's in the sense that Heath Ledger's was all about chaos for chaos's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is more about like a mentally ill man becoming the Joker or a man with sort of personal struggles who is brought to that brink. And like I've read like excerpts from gripped, and it's good. Like it's fine. But it's also something where I think it's going to rely lot on the acting. And I feel the same way about or I feel the opposite way about Batman in that Robert Pattinson could be really good when he's acting up there. But I
Hmm.
think until we see him like suited up and everything and actually in the role doing the Batman thing, I don't know necessarily where what I'm expecting, like how he would be as Batman,
Right.
what type of Batman he would be. And I know this is like way more thought than I should realistically be putting into it. And in the grand scheme of things, I think there's an argument to be made that for like changing the Batmobile, like not just giving him Batflex Batmobile, but sort of not reusing the Ben Affleck Batmobile
Oh, right.
and then just give him a new one, and then we'll have like, for all I know, like at New York Comic Con next year, that'll be one of the sponsored cars because every year at
Okay.
New York Comic Con they have a partnership with Chevy, and so there's all these like sponsored Chevys that are all tricked out and silly. Anyone who's seen any of my New York Comic Con videos has seen them
Hmm.
before. But every year it's always something different. Like they had My Little Pony like decals one year,
Hmm.
and then they had DC characters another, and then Into the Spider Verse characters another. But one year they had like a Chevy like SUV
Hmm.
that had like it was tricked out like a Batmobile basically.
Right.
So yeah, it's all yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see
It will.
eventually.
Are they gonna? Is it gonna be like Batman Year One? This
No,
whatever
no,
this new Bat.
it's not an origin. Like he's been doing it for a hot minute.
Okay.
And Robert Pattinson's in his 30s, so even if they wanted to tell that story, they really kind of can't
Okay.
because he started being Batman in his 20s, if I remember correctly. Now,
Okay.
granted, Christian Bale was like my age, I think, for Batman Begins.
Okay.
So it's like it doesn't really matter,
Right.
It's just you can just say he's 25, and if you can get the makeup there, people will
Yeah.
believe it. And then there's the creepy de-aging tech that they have now,
I know.
which is just eesh.
Wyatt B. Think a 70s chopper with a Triumph 750. Is it cool? It was cool in the 70s. Now it's kind of weird pubic hair coming out of the top of your jorts. Uh, People would chop Triumphs in the 70s because they couldn't get a hold of a Harley 75. It was a very odd thing when you have a British bike and it's turned into a chopper with like this really big rake. I don't like it. Uh, or you turn it into a bopper with a hardtail. Usually a bike becomes a bopper because whatever project you had fell through, and now you just welds. Now you just have some. You can't even get shocks for it, so you just bolt some pipe to where the shocks used to be, put some high bores, and call it a bopper, and try to sell it for $2,000 more than you bought it. I think British bikes should look like British bikes and stop trying to be American. I mean, even the Triumph, they made that triple kind of cruiser thing, but the only manufacturer that got close to copying Harley was Honda, and that ended with a lawsuit. So just let Harley be Harley, and everybody else just do your own thing. So no, Wyatt, I don't think that's cool. I think it's very kind of unsettling, that look. But thank you for your donation. It was a very good question.
I mean, I agree in the sense that anything that is different should not try to conform for the sake of broader appeal, even though I understand why they do. So if for instance, like if there's a remake of some kind or something that is a version of a car that is appealing directly to the nostalgia for previous iterations of that car, I kind of think it's the wrong position to take because oftentimes the thing being created is not good in its own right. It's good in reference to the thing we're remembering. So
Hmm.
you can't, the car is already starting off on the wrong foot where you're shooting yourself in the foot if people don't already have nostalgia for that car,
Yeah.
but you're also shooting yourself in the foot by creating a car that relies so heavily on nostalgia that, and I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I'm sure like the 2002 like Ford Thunderbird, like the one that they did that was sort of like
Yeah.
harkening back to the older style, but it was
Yeah. I wonder
also
if they made their money
small.
back on that or didn't.
I
mean,
can't
they
imagine.
saved money by making it, but it's really a Lincoln Mark whatever. But I'd say yeah, it's the only one that comes to mind. That one just solely trades on its ancestors' accomplishments.
Yeah.
Um, maybe the Evo 10, but that still was a fantastic car in its own right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it works better than the thing that it's harking back to, but sometimes the promotion will still try to say, "Hey, it's that thing you liked," you
It's
know?
the special editions of the original trilogy from Star Wars.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Or come see The Force Awakens. It has you like Star Wars, right?
Here's some more Star War. I
Oh,
mean, they played it so close to the vest, I wasn't even mad.
no,
I went to the movie and saw a Star War.
yeah,
It's like people hating on Batman or Superman Returns. I watched a Superman movie.
yeah, like, what do you
Yeah.
it's like, it the former president of Disney put out his, like, memoir, and in it, he talks about the, deal with George Lucas and how Lucas sold it understanding well, I mean, they made it clear, like, "Hey, you're gonna give us these story treatments for episodes 7 through 9, and but in buying Lucasfilm off of you and The Rise of Star Wars, like, there is not an implicit agreement that we're gonna use these treatments," you know? And, he's like, "Okay, okay," and, all that stuff. And then, like, he got mad when they didn't use them because he felt there was, like, a tacit agreement that they were gonna
Yeah.
use it, and it's
Should
like,
have had him in writing, or someone should have had the phone on record.
well, no, but, like, if Star Wars is really his baby, I mean, like, this is like giving up that baby for adoption and then wanting a say in how the child is raised.
Yeah.
It's like you still get visitation. That's good.
Yeah.
So, like, he still gets like a story consultant role, I think, if
Okay.
I remember correctly. And basically, I don't think like part of the reason he got wanted to get rid of it in the first place is because of all the like his kids didn't want it, and so who's he going to leave in charge? And also it's like, well, you got so much crap for the prequels, it's like, why would you even want to make more? But
Yeah.
it's also that thing where they did a screening for George and of The Force Awakens when it first came out, and or before it first came out, and he was like, "You guys didn't do anything new." And like nothing technology wise or any of that stuff, his whole thing with Star Wars is that there should be sort of like newness to it with each episode. And I'm thinking, well, but you're not really appreciating the position they were in.
Yeah.
Of like they
We
had
have to unfuck
yeah,
everything.
yeah, it's like I appreciate the hell out of George, and I love the prequel trilogy for what it is because those were movies that I had in my childhood and into my teen years. I was 13 when the Phantom Menace came out, and so it's something where I hold it very near and dear to my heart. But I also recognize the innumerable flaws in those movies and understand that Disney had to course correct
Yeah.
and reignite the public perception of Star Wars of like, okay, it's okay. We're doing the Star Wars now the way you remember it.
Yeah.
And then they did, it's just like for the last Jedi, I'm like, we're not going to do that. But I still enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah, let's go to the Casino Planet.
yeah, I still
You're fishing here.
like
You're slipping.
the more time passes, the more I like The Last Jedi because I realized what it was they were doing.
Yeah.
It's just that on that first watch, it's kind of like when we were coming home after the Ronda Rousey fight with
Yeah.
Home,
Like,
of just like
huh.
it's not even like you're thinking of anything. It's just there's silence because you're still in a moment of processing
Yeah.
of like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about that. Like, am I supposed to be glad that Rousey lost after talking so much crap to someone as nice as Holly Holm?
Yeah.
Or am I supposed to feel bad because the zeitgeist is over?
Yeah.
It's like the time was then and now it'll never be that again.
Yeah.
Of course, then Connor came along,
Yeah.
but then he got like his shit pushed in too.
Yeah.
So it's by a guy with like 2 weeks notice and who probably
was
smoked
it Nate or Nick Diaz?
Nate.
Nate
Yeah.
Diaz who choked him out.
Yeah. And he probably did like his training regiment was probably like just bag loads of weed, of like all of the weed, just stuffing it down there and just lighting up. But yeah.
uh, Mr. Doable for £2. Would you review the new Ford Fiesta ST in the UK? We got to come back to the UK, but I foresee ourselves going back to the UK. I got to make like, God willing, YouTube still sticks around, like the travel plans going forward for the next 5 years, because 2020 doesn't have any international travel plans.
Yeah.
It's just domestic. I go skiing this winter. We worked out this thing how there'll be a Nick review, hopefully at least every month.
Yeah.
That'll get me a chance to get out of this apartment and be able to just, I don't know, drive around the East Coast and do stuff that I want. My goal for RCR is to be able to take 1 week out of the month where I don't do RCR. And I believe and I hope you guys understand it, after doing this for 5 years, I get to have a life outside of this YouTube channel.
Mm.
And so that's my goal going forward. International travel plans, RCR Australia 2021. And then in 2022, it will either be RCR Germany or RCR Japan. Based on, we have at least 2 solid fixers. More likely it's going to be Japan, because we have 2 solid American fixers. One guy living over there and the other guy who we both know over in Allentown.
I would absolutely lose my mind to go to Japan. That'd be so cool. He said as enthusiastically as he could, but meaning it enthusiastically.
All right, that makes it easy because it's just 2 of us. RCR Japan 2022.
Nice. Oh, we missed 2 super chats.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, I have them.
You got him?
Angry Clown 1990. What are, well, and if I zoned out and you answered these, please just let me know. What's up, guys? I've been delving the wild and hilarious history of stock car racing and contemplating the downfall of NASCAR this month. Wait, that's it.
Okay, well, NASCAR requires a big time sink. NASCAR is to auto racing what like spring training is to baseball. There's a whole lot of sitting around waiting on subtleties.
That's a good line. Sitting around waiting on subtleties.
There's a whole lot of nothing happening in a NASCAR race unless you're really into it.
Sitting around waiting on subtleties.
Okay.
Putting it in the voice recorder because I don't have my notebook on me. I hope I don't look back on this and think that I wrote that.
Even if you did, sounds like a U line.
Yeah.
In NASCAR, all the action happens at the end of the race where people finally start making their moves. A lot of NASCAR is the pit crews and managing your fuel, managing your speed, and the workout with the teammates as you slipstream with each other. It's way more exciting to watch rally racing, Formula One, and yet NASCAR is the king. But it's falling like in like television viewership. Now I'm speaking from this as a damn Yankee because it's not big here as it is heading toward, like Indianapolis, or out Midwest, Southwest, South. Because the real fun of going to a NASCAR race, or so I've been told, is just partying. And oh, by the way, a race. Just like going to a Penn State game. Yeah, there's the game.
Yeah.
But then there's tailgating, there's the parties, there's the picnics, it's all that stuff that goes along with it.
Like you go into Beaver Stadium wobbling. That's the idea of just.
There is something very touching watching those YouTube videos of whiteout days. And for people who don't know, that's Penn State's colors are blue and white. So they wear, out of some particular games, they'll just wear all white. Like everybody show up in white clothes, like white sweatshirts, white hats. And then hearing the entire Beaver Stadium sing Sweet Caroline in unison. And they just even stop playing it over the PA.
Yeah.
And the entire people, like, that is as important as the game going on down there. Like, we're all in this together.
I
Yeah.
got by the time I graduated, I was so sick of that song. That's
Mm.
I was sick of actually out of the 3 songs I'm going to name, I only ever got sick of 2 of them. But these were the most frequently like it played in every bar at least once a night.
Oh.
Everybody sang along. If you left the bar in the dead ass cold, people were singing it along the street. And it was Don't Stop Believing,
Oh boy.
Sweet Caroline, and the one that oddly enough I didn't get sick of, which is and it's super weird, Renegade by Styx.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, like it's I mean, people wouldn't really sing that out on the streets, but literally in every bar I went to, they always played Renegade by Styx.
Huh.
I really liked that
Did they play
song.
Renegade at the football games?
No, not that
Oh,
I
okay.
know. Well, I mean, I
Uh,
never went to a football game.
oh, right.
I've been like to the tailgating, but like actually going into the game
Yeah.
because, a poor
Prohibitive.
student, yeah,
Yeah.
it was prohibitively expensive. And the idea that, there were people selling tickets on markup and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like for that, I'll just go to the bar, watch the game on the TV, and then go to the state diner afterwards
Uh-huh.
and end up, sobering up while I eat a sunshine or sunrise platter
Yeah.
with alumni who show up
Nice.
and we're like, it's just one of those nice things where it's yes, you're in college and yes, you're sort of expected to have school spirit, but at a certain level, it's like, what does school spirit really get me? It's like not even like I'm in a frat where I'm who knows I might be making contacts with a future Supreme Court justice.
Yeah.
It's like I imagine that's what frats are for, of
Yeah.
just like, yeah, we're making in with whatever families,
Yeah.
rubbing elbows. But no, it's just like, what do I need to like spend $250 for decent tickets to
Wow.
yeah,
That's
because
one game.
yeah, well, they
God
wrote it on
damn.
the dry erase board one day of like, hey, I got tickets at 250. See me in my room because I lived in a frat house, but I
Uh-huh.
wasn't in the frat, which is hilarious. But
Uh-huh.
that and I didn't want to pay their social fee to go to any of their parties, which were down below the living quarters, because those parties always moved upstairs anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, get to drink for free. And they got closed because they were supposed to be a dry frat and they found out they were
Well,
drinking.
yeah.
Yep. But
The I tried to explain to Juliet and Bryce the what college football really was to some states in the US. It's more important than professional sports.
Mm.
And it's weird because Pennsylvania, we're not starved for professional sports teams.
Nope.
We have 2 major cities and let's see, what do we got? We got the Eagles for football.
And the Steelers.
We got the Steelers
Stillers.
for
Yin's got the Stillers.
the West Coast of PA. We got the Flyers for hockey. We got the Penguins on the other side out in Pittsburgh for hockey. So right there, there's 4 teams, and then there's like arena football, but no one cares about that. But then you have in the middle of the state, Penn State University, which is an entire draw for the entire state
Yeah.
to go watch college football.
College football.
And then next door, I think the rivals is Ohio State.
Yeah, there's a very foul shirt that they sell in certain bars that I won't repeat here, but it's about Ohio State. And then our other big one was Michigan because there was somebody from Michigan because it was an away game for them and they were walking around like Beaver Avenue and man, a fight broke out, like the whole like Michigan squad and then like some Penn Staters who were there and I'm way the hell like down and I just see that going on and I'm like, what happened there? It's like, oh, the guy was wearing
fight. It's just
a big
cloud of fists.
Yeah, and I'm like, what happened over there? A guy was wearing a Michigan State jersey. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, it's just like, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
He's like out here. That's just,
Yeah.
people are weird. Well, not weird. I get it, but
Sports.
yeah, some people are more wild about sports than like political affiliations, sexual orientation, family members.
Yeah.
There are people in like families who are divided over like, oh, you didn't say go birds just now.
I got turned down for an OkCupid date because I was an Eagles fan.
Really?
But she's also in Pennsylvania and on the east side too. She's one of those, there's like this weird subset of Dallas Cowboy fans in Pennsylvania. What is that about?
The Avery Way. I don't know what
I
accent that
don't know
was,
what that's
but
about.
they're all over the place, and I don't really understand it. But
Mm.
by the same token, I use that phrase too much, but it's something where I think, um, I don't know, maybe like ancestral link to that
Do
of,
you
you
have
know,
anybody who lives in Texas at all?
well, the weird thing is, as a kid, I liked the Cowboys because my friend Matt liked the Cowboys, and
Their
he was
logo's a
from Texas.
star.
Yeah, well, I mean, I like the
It
Cowboys and
means
the
you got a good
49ers.
grade.
I remember like when the Steelers went to the Super Bowl this one year. I think I was in like 6th grade,
Uh-huh.
and everyone was like, "Oh man, the Steelers suck." I'm like, "But they're from Pennsylvania, and we're from Pennsylvania."
Pennsylvania.
It's like, okay, it's not the Birds, but we
Yeah.
take what we can get.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was like Steelers, Cowboys, or something. I don't know enough about football to
Yeah.
remember who faced who when, but
Yeah.
it was strange. Like I watched that Super Bowl, and I think that was one that had like all those like super weird video game commercials of,
Huh.
just, well, I mean, all of them have super weird video game commercials, but
Mhm.
I don't know. Again, I'm turning into Grandpa Simpson with these stories that don't go
Go
anywhere.
anywhere.
Like I'm the Brian Red Band of this podcast.
I think on the Friday when the Johnsons were here, I think my home high school football game is an away game, so I can't take them to that.
Mm,
Just to see that everybody's going to come out for a high school football game. I don't think they may get super bored because they don't know how the game is played,
mm,
and they don't understand like there's a lot the game just stops and it starts and it stops and it starts and the band plays and there's whistle blowings and yeah.
yeah,
And there's going to be late October. No, it's going to be that perfect chilly football night with the hot cocoa
yeah, with
and the
luck.
pierogies, and it's just a reason. It's just a reason to subtly get to first and maybe second base underneath the bleachers before the security guard finds you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Memories.
But I was in marching band, so I had to wait for the bus.
Oh, the second super chat question we missed is from Matt Kling. Thank you for a $1.99 donation. Always appreciated. Thoughts on Suzuki TS bikes from the 70s?
Are we talking about like the water buffalo, the two-stroke ones? I've never ridden one, but I wanna. I hear they're nuts. Um, I want to ride more bikes from the 70s because they like the 80s were the beginning of the big revolution for motorcycles, and the 70s and the 60s were kind of the same. The brakes are very, very wooden, and by that I mean the brakes don't work very well at all. Um, the engines really didn't change until the mid 80s when fuel injection. Actually, no, it didn't. It was when suspension started getting better and aerodynamics started getting better. Um, I do want to do them. We have one motorcycle coming up eventually. We were gonna have two, but Matt's broke. It's in my garage right now. Um, God, this bike is cool. That's 4 exhaust pipes, like 4 cylinders, 4 exhaust pipes. It's brilliant. I hope we can get it running. I was so bummed out today. But yeah, love 70s bikes. I want to get my hands on more of them, and I'm a big fan of those Suzukis. I'm a big fan of all of them from the 70s, really. Because they really started coming into their own because once again, everything comes back to the Arab oil embargo.
Yes.
Where was I? Ford Fiesta in the UK. We got that one. Brandon Young. I think I skipped this one. I never got to be here live, so have some beer money. Thank you. Thank you, Brandon Young. Come back to California and try my RSX Type S. Way different than the base model you did. Love you guys. Is the RSX Type S, does that have a K20 in it? I kind of hope it does. I'm all
Hmm.
about it, but I don't know when we're going to be in California next. And I really don't because all of our trips, I mean, clearly we'd pass through LA on the way to Sydney.
Yeah. I think like half the places we go have involved stopping in LA.
LA, yeah. I kind of want to make a trip to LA when Farah has the big opening for his garage. Supposedly, there's going. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of get together, and it would be kind of a balling on a budget thing just to go out there just for that
Yeah.
to make an appearance.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Brandon Young's okay. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Love you too, Brandon. Thank you so much for your donation. It will be put to good use. Zach Heilman says, "Can you explain the joke ballasts on a Smart?" Yes, that Smart had the early iterations of HID headlights, which were the pre-runner to now everybody wants LED headlights. The old HIDs required a electrical ballast to honestly, I don't know how a ballast works. I'm assuming it works something like a capacitor where it would store and then release extra energy because the headlights with the HID modifications require more electricity. You can hear them click on and off and run. Tony Airlines' 1991 Honda Beat also has ballasts. The headlights are very bright, and HID headlights do really work. They also blind everybody. And while the new LED headlights, with the exception of light bars, are much more ethical because they can be aimed better. So ballasts on a Smart, the joke is someone spent a lot of money at the time to have ballasts on a Smart where they could just get Sylvania Silver Stars from AutoZone or wherever and have stuff that's almost as bright, and all you had to do is change a light bulb. I have Sylvania Silver Star Ultras in my Subaru, and they're great. They're as good as you can get, and you don't have to change anything, and they're nice and white, and I can see at night really well. That's the joke. Winged Horse Garage says, "Here's 5 BCZ Roman knew Hogan was Thunderlips." Oh,
Oh,
here's 5 because Roman knew that Hogan was Thunderlips.
cool. Thank you. Finally, my useless information about pro wrestling comes to use. Well, that's more of like a Rocky knowledge thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
A DeLorean also appeared, I think. Was that
did
Rocky
it?
3?
Might have been.
It was like in a montage where they just they pan by like an ad for Rocky standing by a DeLorean. So
I love Rocky. What I
Rocky
no
3 was the one with
Mr. T. I'm thinking of Rocky 4 because it has like Rocky getting into a sports car, which I can't remember off the top of my head, and driving and having like a memory flashback as he's looking in the rearview mirror about like what Ivan Drago did um to Creed.
Yeah.
And it was set to one of the most underrated songs of the 80s, which is No Easy Way Out. Like there's no easy way out.
Oh, the
There's no
Proto Man
shortcut
covered that.
home. Wait, who covered that?
The Proto Men.
Oh, I gotta listen to that.
Oh, it's very good. That is on my gym workout mix.
So, yeah, it's on mine too. Like unironically too, because that is such a great like pump it song.
When you need to get through your workout, I mean 80s power ballads, they do the job.
It's just pumping.
Crazy Ivan 2 times, wouldn't be a party without you. Missed you guys, Mr. Regular. How did Deus Ex go? Playing it now? I played that game 3 times in a row. I am not playing any video game right now. I played this first two Stalker games until I got to the end where you can't turn around and go back, and I was kind of done with the game. What I had been doing for a while was playing Stalker, and at first listening to the YouTube channel Ushaka Show, and then when I finally caught up with every single video he did, I moved on to audiobook. I moved on to audio books of Isaac Asimov, the Robots of Empire series, on the recommendation from Frederick Knudsen from the YouTube channel Down the Rabbit Hole, who some people realize that on the RX7 video, he makes a voice appearance in the very beginning of that.
Yeah.
So on Fred's recommendation, I read Caves of Steel, which is great.
Yeah.
And then I listened to the audiobooks to just continue the story. It's very good. But since I have no trips coming up, and also my data plan isn't unlimited, so I can't just listen to YouTube in the car.
Yeah.
But audiobooks would definitely make. I have a personal trip coming up out to Chicago. I think the first weekend in December, and that's driving. Ted Stoltz is going to help me out with that. and those drums got to go with. So definitely gonna need some stuff to listen to for 2 days.
Yeah.
We'll stop over in Pittsburgh. You stay with Tim Strickler, Justin Lose, and then go out the rest of the way. But Ted Stoltz doesn't know about CVS bangers.
Oh, we're waiting.
So we're gonna listen to all 3 volumes.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
I played him. I played him for Matt Walsh, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be really bad, but we're gonna listen to this entire thing because it's gonna eat up an hour.
Yeah.
He didn't know what it was. I'm like, okay, imagine if a hometown DJ was hired to rock a CVS, but he only had the music of CVS to work with. And the guy's DJ name is brilliant. It's DJ Hennessy Youngman.
It's just, it's so great because you're like sitting there listening, and there will be the like occasional interjection from the DJ,
Yeah.
like the air horn or the like CVS
bangers. And thank you to Tim Strickler for introducing me to the glory that was CVS Bangers. The name. I hope there's like a new sincerity for adult contemporary music and like Michael McDonald music in a world where everything's crazy. I keep forgetting, like that smooth 70s jams.
Yeah.
The people were ugly, but the music was good. That's not my line. That's Kid Rock's line about the music in the 70s.
Good for him.
The people were ugly, but the music was good. So yeah, thank you, Ivan. Christopher Walanga. Hey guys, thanks so much for hosting the car meet a few weeks back. Oh, thank you for coming if you did. Question: did you guys see the Super 8? Yes, I did. Someone had a Super 8mm camera, and it does exist.
Yeah.
I uploaded some to the subreddit a little while ago.
Yeah,
I'd love for you to see it. We did see it. I love that.
That was so cool.
First of all, that he spent the time and the money to have that crap developed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's no small thing. And I've actually watched it multiple times because it reminds me so much of the Wonder Years intro. But it's just so weird seeing modern things through the lens and the filter.
Yeah.
And not an artificial filter either, but like the literal thing.
Yeah.
You know, it almost makes me wonder why modern filmmakers don't make more films with sort of antiquated, for lack of a better term, technology. And I understand it's because that technology is extremely delicate.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not set out for the types of things. But I mean, even like a movie without a lot of action heavy or action intensive, you know, not a lot of crazy location shooting, but something like Kramer versus Kramer, where it's all like interiors and whatnot,
Right.
you know, that'd be something cool to see, just to see like modern actors in that like filter, that veneer of, you know, the past.
I was listening to a Greg Fitzsimmons podcast with Whitney Cummings, and they were talking about how Whitney was working and acting on some sort of HBO production, and they were shooting it on film. And she talked about how she got some anxiety because someone said out, we got 2 minutes left to film. Like there's 2 minutes left of footage on this roll. So can you try to get this last scene done on like 1 or 2 takes? Because this is all we have left in the camera right now.
You who aren't a trained actor, how about doing acting better this time? It's just, you know, it's strange. And I understand that's kind of what you sign up for when you do any type of major production. But it is strange how it's almost become this cliche where like stand-up comedians are expected to sort of be surprisingly good actors because there's so much vulnerability involved in stand-up,
right?
That it's almost expected. Like, well, why are you going to be vulnerable in front of a camera? You do stand-up, you know. It's kind of like Adam Sandler. They released a trailer for like this movie he's getting Oscar buzz for, which he always gets Oscar buzz for, like Meyerowitz Stories, Reign Over Me, Punch Drunk Love, and but this is like a decent shot depending on whether they campaign him. If they campaign him in lead, I don't think he has a chance. But it's called Uncut Gems, and he's like this guy who's basically playing like a serious version of an Adam Sandler character.
Hmm.
He's basically playing like John Turturro in anything John Turturro's ever done.
Okay.
But it's just this strange thing of like he's, sort of I don't even know if he's necessarily a crook or not. Like
Yeah, he seems like a degenerate gambler.
yeah, and he gets in bad with these people, and even then, I'm still not sure what the story is, because
Yeah.
you see that he's kind of, telling his wife everything is gonna be fine one minute and then, like, telling her to get lost the next or something
Yeah.
along those lines of, like, "This is over, you knew it was over." It's just a strangely cut trailer to where I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to tell me about this movie,
Yeah.
but I know I kind of am interested in it. So, yeah.
Wyatt B asks, and thank you for your donation, clarification from my previous question. It is a Triumph motor in a custom made frame, not a chopped Vonable. Any better? Yes. I mean, what kind of custom made frame were we talking about? Is it still a chopper? If so, my previous thing stands. But I mean, if a Triumph motor is in a custom frame, either if it's going to be a standard or a sport frame, that's what Triumph does. So what are we talking about here? Unless you're doing some weird like Walking Dead thing. There was one character who had a Triumph, which people like motorcycle guys shit upon. Like you have this you have this vintage motorcycle and parts are hard enough to find when society was intact. And how are you keeping this running now? If it was accurate in Walking Dead, he would have been riding around on one of those military KLR 650s, a bike that just needs like two screwdrivers to keep running.
I mean, if it were accurate, wouldn't have all the fuel gone bad by that point? Of just, turned into a slurry of sorts?
Yeah, yeah. Gasoline is good for like 6 months, and then it gets all varnishy. I mean, you can still burn it, but then again, like your older dirt bikes, they'll still run on it. And if he found like a can of fuel stabilizer, like Stabil, you can keep fuel good for like a year.
Hmm.
But then, yeah, even then, the gasoline starts separating. Like I was gonna say oil and water or uh, cum in a mayonnaise jar because okay. Did I ever tell you about AIDS too?
No.
Okay. All right. So sophomore year in college. My dorm roommates and I had this thing. We had this rinsed out milk jug that we kept in the laundry room in like this closet no one used.
Mm.
And occasionally we'd go down there and pee in it. And on the side of the milk jug, we wrote AIDS and then the Roman numeral 2,
Huh.
as in it's the sequel. It literally was a jug of old piss.
Ew.
Now, what were we going to do with this? Well, I'll tell you. We had this weird beef going on with the second floor people of Lehigh Hall and Kutztown University.
Hmm.
So we thought it'd be a good idea because we figured out that, okay, the water fountains in the hall of the dorm weren't built into the wall. They were just regular filing cabinet looking water fountains, but they were the kind that went all the way to the floor.
Hmm.
Water fountains really only need the upper 1/3. The rest of the stuff down below was just like a flexible water hose and empty space.
Yeah.
And also, the way these old water fountains were put together, it was just a slotted screw or flathead screw would take the entire shell of it off.
Yeah.
We found out one night. So we can put anything we want in these things. So why not piss in an old jug, go down to the second floor, take it apart when everyone's asleep, put the jug in there, take the lid off of it, like piss that's like a month old smells like a biohazard. It stops people's thoughts. It smells so bad. So we were going to go down there and take this thing off and put it in and just leave it off and then turn those screws back in real tight and
Ugh.
just leave. We were assholes. So I don't think we ever got this plan never came to fruition because the janitor Art found AIDS 2 and just like poured it out. He said, that really stunk, guys. But Art kind of didn't care. He was a funny guy. And in fact, Art lives around here. I see him from time to time in town. He just says, you guys were nuts. And I'm like, sorry, Art. And I think at one point there was some sort of beef, and I think we just went down there and poured some of AIDS 2 into their water fountain, like just down the drain. Even that stunk.
Yeah.
How'd I get on this? Oh,
Um,
cum in a thing. We had this other thing that, according to I think my roommate or maybe someone else in the dorm, that like cum and semen will eventually separate into two separate parts because it's not a stable solution. It will separate into layers. So someone claims to have just saved their jizz in a jar and just built it up, and eventually it separates. So that's what gasoline becomes in the zombie apocalypse.
huh. That was a strange and interesting detour to get to where we were going there.
I think we gotta hold off on live chats. It's now it's coming up on 9. We've been going this for 2 hours. It's fine. Very legal, very cool. I have to pee. Can you take this one?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
I started college last week, began a workout routine 6 days a week, cardio alternated with climbing gym, also doing radio. If you have RCR Seattle planning questions, I'd love to help in the regular chat. Are we doing RCR Seattle?
There was talk about it. I mean, the thought would be to fly into PDX and maybe hang out with Fred.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'd have to talk to him about it.
Oh, I did the dad thing and scrolled down. Let me see. Quickly. You can get to the top if you believe in yourself. That's all. Oh, Super 8mm. Triumph Motor custom made. Very good and very legal. Regular chat. Um, let's see. Next one. Patrick McFarland, $5. Thank you so much. Question above. Sorry, first time doing this. So let me find it. Are new Toyota still reliable after 100,000 miles? I have a choice between a 2018 Mitsubishi Lancer still under warranty or a 17 Corolla with 80,000 miles. Um, I mean, is reliability the only thing you're going for? Because I don't know. If it were me personally, I would do the Corolla, but that's because I'm a man of extraordinarily simple tastes and because I am a man of similarly meager means who doesn't like to sort of worry needlessly. Like if you're going to have a Lancer, I would imagine you're going to want to do things with it, and that you're going to want to be a little bit more adventurous than not adventurous at all. But if reliability is the only thing that you're looking into, then I would just say probably the Corolla. But again, it's like everything is different. Like there are people who had Corollas that, maybe didn't have the same functionality as the Corolla reputation implies, and maybe other people have had Lancers that I know this is like such a middle of the road answer, which is why I never do these podcasts by myself, the way that Brian occasionally does. Uh, but I think again, it all has to do with what you're looking for. You want something that is going to be reliable, but also isn't necessarily boring because I've never found Corollas to necessarily be boring. Um, it's just what you bring to the car personally. You can sort of tax those cars in terms of their mechanical function and get an experience out of them. Now, granted, it's not going to be as intense an experience as a Lancer, probably. So, again, I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, I would go with the Corolla. But a Lancer is viable to a point. Here, let me run this by you. Um, oh,
Schrader owns a Lancer.
yeah, it's basically the choice between, he's looking for something reliable, or he or she. Let me find it again. They are looking for something reliable, and they're basically between our new Toyota is still reliable after 100,000 miles. I have a choice between 2018 Mitsubishi Lancer still under warranty or a 17 Corolla with 80,000 miles.
Corolla.
Yeah, well, there you
Yeah.
go. That's good.
I
Rock and
don't
roll.
know why your
So,
existing Toyota is not good after 100,000 miles. Should be fine.
Yeah.
Thank you for your donation.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So that was Patrick. So
Okay.
we're down more.
Reports. Gary.
Wait.
Angry Clown twice. Dan Edmonds.
Oh wait, I
Unit
got the next one.
Zero. Okay.
I've seen your review. Oh, this is from Unit Zero, $10. Thank you. I've seen you review many cars, but almost no KDMs. Why?
KTM.
Well, it says KDMs.
Uh, Kilo Delta Mike.
Yeah, yeah,
Kilo Delta Mike.
yeah, like KDM, like
I think he means KTM, Kilo Tango Mike. But KTM is which interestingly, Schaefer's has a KTM dealership right over there. KDM, I don't know what that is. But Kilo Tango Mike is, I think, an Austrian motorcycle manufacturer and supposedly a very good one. They are not they are moderately priced bikes. They're definitely not introductory bikes, but supposedly they're very good off road. They've been around since the 70s. They're a bit of a niche market, and not really fashionable. I've never seen a very good looking KTM. They're always very functional.
well, I mean, maybe he means like Korean domestic market, like Korean
Maybe.
cars.
I mean,
In which case, I mean, like, because he said we've done 3. So
unless he means JDM, I
I don't think no, because we do like a
don't.
unmerciful load of JDM cars.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the answer would be because we haven't been offered enough KDM cars that are feasible for us to do. Honestly, I can't remember the last time we were offered a Korean vehicle of any kind.
Korean domestic markets. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I don't get it.
Yeah,
But almost no Korean. I'd love to get a handhold on the Telluride. I sat in it at the New York Auto Show, but
yeah,
bleh,
it's definitely an
we were
experience.
both there, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we both made very different videos.
Yeah.
Uh,
I want to do that again. I need a handheld mic.
yeah.
Dan Evans, thank you for your donation, £2. What's the weirdest phase both of you have had? Okay. I had my Jeep phase in college where I absolutely needed a Wrangler. I'm glad my parents talked me out of it. That was stupid. That's not a good college car. They chew up gas and all of their interiors just leak air in, even the hardtop variants. What's another weird phase that I had?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what it was.
I think I pretended to like country music for like a month. Not that I don't. It's just, you know, I didn't grow up with it. So, and by country music, I mean Garth Brooks, which meant pop country.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a phase.
Modern country. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because I think there are some songs that I'll hear from country music and I'll love them, and then the next I'll never want to hear them again, like Wagon Wheel. Like,
Don't know it. If it's not good, don't tell me. My grocery store has like 2 nights of the week they play country music over the PA. I think it's somebody on staff really wants to hear it. But it's nothing good. It's just Nashville pop. And it's nothing but trite and cliches. I mean, it literally is the pickup trucks god, life is good. I mean, you can every it is manufactured, overproduced stuff. And if Tales from the Tour Bus taught me anything, it's like country music is very, very good. You just stop having to listen to the Nashville crap.
Yeah.
Said Brian as he spilled his vodka on his futon that he got from Matt Walsh.
Yeah. Phases, I'm trying to think because a lot of them weren't like because the implication of phase means that like this is who I am now, but
Yeah.
it wears off. But I still like a lot of the things that I liked before. I mean, I guess I kind of went through a kind of emo phase, but I didn't really dress like it. I was just listening to the stuff and writing really dumb
Mm,
like dumb poetry that I like. I know there are still people who have like the old copies of Lit Mag that those some of those poems were in. And if it were up to me, like I would go full George Lucas on the Star Wars holiday special and try to track down and burn every copy.
really? He
Uh,
did that?
well, no, but he
Uh,
said he would if he could.
uh,
But it's something where like I would do the same thing because it's deeply well. Now, granted, if we were all judged based on the person we were as a teenager,
oh
I
God.
think like we would all be polling in negative numbers.
Thank God that for Web 1.0 that few of that stuff survived.
Yeah, and thank God I came up in a day without all of this because I would have been like I would have been prescription strength fucked. Like I would have been weapons grade embarrassed, of just
Yeah.
it would have been weaponized against me. And I can't imagine how hard it is to be a teenager right
I
now.
want to ask people, what is it like now that the internet is forever? Because when I was internet, who cares? It was on the internet.
Yeah,
It didn't matter. And then hard drives got corrupted, and that was the end of it.
yeah,
Your website is stored on freaking Putty's computer. Uh,
yeah.
there's a
There was
whole
no
story around that one
cloud.
I can't talk about.
It's like the things that people do now, it's like things that will just follow you like the monster from It Follows, but you can't, you know, sex it away.
Oh,
Like
fun.
yeah, it's a sexually transmitted ghost.
Yeah.
That movie's friggin' hilarious. Well, not hilarious. It's weird, but the premise in isolation is hilarious.
Right. Weird phase. I discovered ska big like well after the third wave during my big time depressive period from 2000, really it was 2006 to 2008. I was in a big deep funk. And then as I got out of it and was in therapy, I'm like, I discovered ska music. And then I was all about it.
Mhm.
And I still am all about it. But back then, I did go to the Salvation Army and buy a black suit, like a third hand suit with a skinny tie.
Mm.
The funny thing is, as I was coming out of it, I was also a substitute teacher. So, I mean, I was able to force my way through the school day and just take on the role of Mr. Ryder, which was fine. And even some of my former students were at the car meet and said, you were our substitute teacher. Like, now you're this YouTube guy. I'm like, yeah. But occasionally I would dress in my skanking suit, which is really just like trying to dress like you're from the specials or Madness,
Mm.
um, who are still touring, by the way. Amazing. The heavy, heavy monster sound, the nuttiest sound around. So if you've come in off the street and are beginning to feel the heat, well, listen, Busta, you better start to move your feet to the rockinest, rock steady beat of Madness, One Step Beyond, who also wrote Our House.
It's a very, very, very fine house.
House? Yes, that's that band.
Oh,
The ska band.
very nice.
We had this, there was this one moment in marching band. I wonder if Foster is listening because he'd relate to this. Like Nikki Blackwell, our drum captain, my junior year, her senior year. She had this cowboy hat, and there was this one moment that crystallized the goofiness and silliness and wholesome sincerity that is high school marching band, where we're on the band bus, either going from, yeah, it's definitely there's more energy going to the competition than there is coming back. Because on the way back, that's where you touch boob. But on the way forward, that's where you're just excited to compete and hopefully get first place. So I remember Nikki Blackwell had her cowboy hat off, and it was just on the bus seat.
Yeah.
And she was singing Our House, but she just sang Our Hat. And it was like our hat in the middle of our seat, our
Oh,
hat.
that's a different our house. I was thinking of the Crosby, Stills, and Nash one.
Oh
Our
no.
house is a very, very, very fine house.
Oh,
Two
that.
cats in the yard.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Different. Our house.
Oh,
Our house
that's a good parody, though.
in the middle of our street. Our house. This is illogical. That's like an 80s comic
Yeah.
saying the house isn't in the middle of the street. No, it's the middle of the block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. I miss band. That's why I'm trying to recreate it.
Rock and roll.
Angry Clown 1990. It says NASCAR is dying slow and painful, plummeting viewership, lackluster competition. Did we already answer this one?
This is a follow-up.
A follow-up. NASCAR is dying slow and painful, plummeting viewership, lackluster competition, and events in empty stadiums that used to draw hundreds of thousands. Really? I mean, it's. I mean, The Simpsons said it. I mean, you go there to see the crashes because otherwise it's just. I never went to a NASCAR race.
No, neither do I.
I don't really care to.
Eh,
I'd much rather just hang out at Harris Hill or any other road course and just watch people dick around.
I mean, I don't think it's one of those things that everybody needs to I would imagine it's not one of those things everybody needs to experience. Where, like, if you tell someone you've never gone to a NASCAR game, I don't think they immediately react the same way that if you told them you never saw, like, Back to the Future or something, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Like if you've never been to a football game or you never were at a basketball game. I understand basketball. I can't play it, but I can still watch a basketball game. I can't play football. I know everything about it from marching band, so I will watch football. And my parents love baseball, so they will watch when the Phillies are on. They will watch the game. So as my parents age, they're finding new things that they like to do together and watch it. The Phillies, when the Phillies are on, they will watch the Phillies game, and it's not a bad thing. It's a nice thing when the family's there, and I can watch it. They'll drink wine, and I'll have wine too, and we'll watch the Phillies game. And it's great because you can kind of have a conversation. You can wait. I mean, George Carlin had that whole thing about the game just goes until it's done. You don't really have to pay attention. It's just kind of there, which makes me kind of want to learn more about cricket because that also seems like a game you can just, it's there.
Yeah, but where are they airing cricket in America?
True.
I mean, it could be on one of those like ESPN like 8.
Yeah.
The Ocho.
Angry Clown 1990 with a very generous donation. Thank you, sir. What's killing it, I'd say, is lack of innovation, alienation of fans, over sterilization, drivers have no personality, and tracks all look the same, and the incompetence of management. If NASCAR wants to survive, they need to return to its roots. Yeah, drunken people. And like, maybe Lemons killed it because that's real racing. That's real shit boxes and hoopties just barreling around the track. That's fun to watch. I remember when Matt and I were at Radwood, they also had a Lemons race there, and Ben Wright was there too. And like we looked at cars, and then we just go up and watch these horrible cars just bang it out with each other. There was a Bluesmobile going around. There was an AMC Pacer that had a rear end for the front end. Like they took a rear end of the car and welded it to the hood, so it had two asses. So the driver was looking through his windshield and then a rear windshield, just driving that way. It's like Hanna-Barbera's wacky races in real life.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's exciting about it.
Yeah. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So thank you, Angry Clown 1990. Yeah, no more super chats. We're gonna wrap this up. I'm on my 3rd vodka, so
I mean, it's mostly seltzer water at that point, isn't it?
It's so clean. It doesn't have that stank to it.
Yeah.
I've been doing this thing where I'll just drink it and then keep adding seltzer water. So that's my chaser is also my drink.
Yeah. I'm gonna go take a leak. And
okay.
Is the sign over there? Do you want me to?
It's over there. I think we need new tape. So you can get the sign, and if
I can just put the sign where my seat is.
Oh, okay.
Take my place for now. Gone pissing.
Gone pissing.
I think it's just enough.
Oh, is that the Gorilla Tape?
Don't know.
All right, whatever.
It's backwards. Oh, whatever. Humanity.
Very legal, very cool. Will Downs has a question about Montana. Workforce 520. Hello. I'm just scrolling back up through all this stuff. Gary Snyder doesn't have a question, but thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate it. Found my place. Workforce 520 says, just saying hi. I have to listen later on podcast. Thank you so much. It was good hanging out in LA. My mom has a Dodge Charger Daytona, something soggy biscuit. Will Downs. Hello, Will Downs, a familiar name. Any music to listen to on a road trip through Montana? Yes. CVS bangers. Kicking down the doors of Valhalla, looking for Elian Gonzalez. Let's go. You want to listen on it's on Mixcloud, and also some people have it on YouTube. CVS bangers. No, seriously, listen to CVS bangers by DJ Hennessy Youngman. You will laugh. I've got my 90s alternative ready, but I wonder what else I should listen to. CVS bangers. I've got an FM transmitter, but my Dodge doesn't have a tape player. If you can't download CVS bangers, then hit up your local record store and just go in the bargain bin where you can buy CDs for like $1. Like old stuff you normally wouldn't listen to, but we're curious about. Just spend like $5, get like 5 CDs. You get like 4 hours of music right there, and just listen to the whole album. Who knows? You may discover something fun. Support your local record store. Spend money there. Tony Airlines and I were at a record store, and he says, I need something. We were going through the bargain stuff, and he says, I need something to listen to in my Honda Fit because it has a CD player. So we're going through stuff, and I was kind of really pushing that he should buy Out Come the Wolves by Rancid, but he's not real. But Tony isn't a fan of punk. So my second suggestion would be like, I mean, there was like Better Than Ezra, but that's not really driving music. So I said, okay, here's Big Bad Voodoo Daddy for $1.99. And I'm like, this is swinging good stuff. So this is fun music. You drive a fun car, listen to this album. And he says, oh, this is kind of good. I think he was looking for more like an 80s beat boop thing that would fit the Honda Fit. Although he did say this would make sense because he has to commute into New York to JFK and like swing music, New York City.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Very Legal and Very Cool says, thoughts on Tom Wolfe maybe making legal pot in PA. Supposedly there's cards now. I don't know.
I mean, I do have a diagnosed anxiety disorder, and I probably could get like a medical allowance because they're allowing it medically now. But it's like also one of those things where you're getting like the Tim Curry like sort of Home Alone 2 smile that like dissolves into the Grinch smile.
Yeah.
Now it's but again, it's one of those things where like I don't want to get so used, like I'm not going to become addicted, right? In theory. But it's
I wish
also
I could roll my eyes more at that statement.
in theory, I would, but I mean it I almost fear that like if for whatever reason I don't have it, it's going to make my anxiety even worse. It's kind of like trying anything new to treat something and then going off of it. But it's, you know, it's things. Yeah. I mean, I do CBD oil and that. It's all right.
You know, that was my opinion. It's all right.
It doesn't.
It was like Sarah with the Prelude said, it's like weed, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. I don't know why I did a voice like that for, but oh, and also I got her Instagram handle wrong in my notes to you, and it's send lewds with both the E's are threes.
Okay.
It's that second E that I forgot to turn into a 3.
Okay.
Totally boomed me, but she's a good follow. So yeah, but CBD, it's like and it's you do the oil, right?
I
did tried it.
The oil hits you harder than the gummies did. The gummies were like, I guess I kind of slept okay, I guess. The oil's made my hands tingle a little bit, so if I ever get more, I'll get the oil. But I'm not gonna go get Rudder stuff. I'll I'll do CBD Lion because Joey Diaz or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he likes it, I'll like it.
Yeah. I just realized that I maybe stopped thinking about the things I was like dwelling on for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of just being an overly nervous personality
Mm.
and skittishness. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not like the same, it's not as powerful a sedative as maybe people are advertising. Maybe I'm not taking enough of it or
Mm.
whatever, but
Meh.
dosing sizes and all that.
I got really horny dreams on when I took a whole bunch of the CBD oil.
Hmm.
Like in the dreams, like it wasn't a sex dream. I was just dreaming I was getting jerked off. So it's a very like bus station dream.
Just get like that, just a disembodied hand, like you're in Smash Brothers or something. Just like,
Yeah. I know how you like it. The towel.
ah.
Unit 0 says KTM stands for Korean Domestic Market. So in the US, that's Kia and Hyundai. Is there any people like you would 25-year rule, you would have to have a 25-year-old Kia. I mean, I don't know, I don't doubt it. For Kia, there's the Kia Forte Optima or the K900. For Hyundai, there's the Elantra. Well, those aren't Korean domestic markets. Those are USDM cars. Unless you're saying that someone's going to bring one of those over here. I mean, true, people are going nuts for Caldinas, and I was taking a good, long, hard look at a Toyota Caldina being sold for $7,000 on Japanese Classics or 7 and change.
Mm.
So who knows? I mean, classic Kias may become a thing, and we'll be palming our foreheads, not seeing this coming when we're 50.
Mm.
Thank you for your donation, Unit 0. I appreciate it. 4 tracks. Thank you for your donation. I need to get you to drive my 2ZZ AW11. 2ZZ. There's a 2ZZ AW11 or autocrossing AE86. And the proper country is drive-by truckers and whatnot. And what is your thoughts on the AV650? What is the AV650? I'm sorry, 4 tracks. I don't know what the AV650 is unless Nick is looking it
I
up.
mean, be the Jamie. Let's see.
Okay.
AV650.
Ding dong, I poop. Ding dong, I call your house. Ding dong, I poop. I poop again, and then I go around and around and around and around and around and around and around. But first the water comes, and then the paper comes.
I
It's
think it's
just a checking, though. I got to check the no, and it is all white, and I am good.
it appears to be a head unit series of head units.
Huh.
That's all that really came up for me.
Right. So maybe he means SV650, in which case a review of an SV650 is coming out. I hope you'll like it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an AW11 with a 2ZZ in it, please, regularcars at gmail.com. Year, make, model, city, state. See what we can do.
Yeah.
Dan Dunlop. Thank you, Dan. Any opinions on turbo KA24s? I only have messed with the SR20s. I love my hard body, but I want more power. You're kind of asking the wrong question, because if you go to an SR20 or if you turbo those KA24s, I mean, it would definitely be cool. But are you doing it to have a fun, unique truck? Because if so, check the forums and see what's possible for turboing a KA24. Or putting an SR20 in there. Maybe somebody already did it. But if you want like a legitimate truck, those aren't high torque engines. They're not meant for hauling things. And if you have a Nissan hardbody, you're meant to haul stuff in the trunk, and that's the wrong engine for that job. But I'd be interested in knowing about it. But if Turbo K24 has already existed, then I guess go for it.
Yeah.
As you know, as long as you watch your rings, should be fine. I mean, if they exist already in factory form, they're made to be run. Thank you for your donation. I think we reached the very bottom, and I think I see Tony Richardson there.
Yeah.
Now that you've driven the Beat a few times, how does it compare to your old AW11? Very good question, Tony. The AW11 was made for American bodies. Uh, it's the better car at carring. that was a good
Well
timing.
timed. Yeah.
Um, but the Honda Beat is clearly the better handling car. And gosh darn it, you never got it. I mean, it shifts like a Honda. I mean, it bang shifts like a Honda, whereas the Toyota shifter is not that great, which is a shame because the engine revs to 7.5 or maybe 7.6, whereas yours is I think 9 or 8.9 or something like that. And I think you told me it cuts ignition or cuts fuel at 8 too. Um, which is the better car? Now you're talking to a guy who's at the end of the day when he has to chooses Team Toyota over Honda as far as Japanese cars go. I love the AW11. I love how it looks, and that's why I had to let it go. But I don't think an AW11 can be fun every single second in the way that a Beat is. Every single time you're in a Honda Beat, you're in a parade. You're waving to everybody. It is driving like you thought it would be when you were a little kid. An AW11 for me was more of a warm cocoon in which I wrapped myself in synthesized notes and drove along the highway and watched those headlights go up and down again. You could tell the limitations, and you're also now comparing a Toyota designed in like 85 to a Honda made in the early 90s. You're talking, well, both of them have distributors, so I'm not going to make the coil on plug argument. The styling is very different. A Honda is clearly early 90s, where a Toyota is clearly mid 80s, much more angular. Um, Toyota, even though I cringe every time I hit potholes in your Beat, Tony, I miss I the car feels solid, whereas a Toyota, a lot of the plastic on the insides are not. And when you ride around in an AW11, it doesn't have that much more room than a Honda Beat. Well, that's a lie. No, you do get way more room in a Honda Beat. You're not like pushing your passenger away from you as you lower the emergency brake. Um, I don't think I'd own an AW11 again, but owning a Honda Beat is very tempting. Although, as we discovered, changing that timing belt, there is some serious preventative maintenance that needs to be done that can only be done by enthusiasts. And that's, I think, the difference between a lot of these small Japanese K cars. Um, you getting dealerships, getting independent mechanics to work on them who aren't Bruce Hen to do it is challenging, and you have to rely on the community to service them. Whereas, with with a MR2 that existed here in the U.S. that does have part numbers that are searchable, although even as you discovered on your Honda Beat, some of the parts are searchable by Honda's computers at a Honda dealership. Um, you're also dealing with a car that's seriously much smaller. I mean, an AW11 can go 70 miles an hour all day long on the turnpike, and a Honda Beat cannot do that. You may start taxing the cooling system, the oiling system, and other things. But then again, Tim Strickler's Activan has the same engine as the Toyota Beat,
Huh.
and he was able to maintain 70 all the way from Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Maybe because the car is physically larger and the radiator's up front and you have all that extra piping of coolant, it's holding more liters of coolant to keep that thing cool as it just for like 4 hours. So
Yeah.
that was a long answer, but if you don't have to take anything with you, the answer is Honda Beat, really.
And I have some rapid fires before we wrap up.
Okay.
This is from the one key KEA. Mr. Regular, do you plan to buy any mirrorless Nikon cameras?
No, I'm fine with my SLRs as they are right now. My setup with my D750 works perfectly fine,
Mm.
and as with my 5300 as the backup. Mirrorless, no. I do own a mirrorless camera. I own a Panasonic that is the dick around camera.
Nice.
But that I only really use on RCR goes to blank or which blank is best blank.
Yeah.
That's a nice camera where I know I'm filming a secondary video and I don't exactly know what I'm in for. That camera usually fills the role. It's a sort of do everything camera, but the video that comes out of it, I can tell the difference. It isn't quite as good. But it also has that super long zoom on it. It's not a interchangeable lens. It just has a really long zoom, which is nice for creeping on people.
um Peyton Lutz, thoughts on 1991 to 1996 Oldsmobile 98 versus the Buick Park Avenue.
I haven't driven an Oldsmobile 98, but since it's a GM product, I figure it would be kind of the same. I mean, because I only driven the Buick, I have to side with it that it was comfortable and delight even when losing traction on Harris Hill Road.
Sonic Gamer 1991, thoughts on a 90s Saturn as a daily beater.
No, they're not going to be reliable. Parts are going to be hard to find on a 90s Saturn. And when something breaks, you're going to try to find a part and they may not have it. It may just not exist anymore. It's from a defunct brand, from a division of General Motors that doesn't exist anymore. So unless you're trying to win an award at Radwood, I don't really see a point in owning a Saturn from the 90s at all.
And finally, my daily upload asks, do you guys watch any Jordan Peterson? Does psychology have any practical benefit in real life?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's kind of
Yes, it's the study of how we think and form ideas and apply meaning to the symbols that we call words.
yeah, it has an absolute application that's beneficial. Now, granted, I don't watch Jordan Peterson, but I know that psychology has plenty of applications, and that they're helping us to better understand the things about our own mind that we don't. I mean, you want to go into space, but there's plenty of stuff to figure out here. The
Yeah,
oceans, the mind. Now I'm starting to sound like
a TED talk.
yeah. uh, well, thanks for
Um,
coming to my TED talk.
that's like a meme in itself.
Yeah.
Like if you just say a bunch of stuff and the room gets silent, you just say, "Thanks for coming to my TED talk." Thanks for coming to my virtue signaling. It's like e-hugs. Remember when Ted was good? Ted was never good. Remember when B was good? B was never good. Uh,
uh,
yeah,
so
it's 9 o'clock.
yeah, we've been
Am I
going
going to
for
stop drinking vodka? No.
we are at 2 hours and 10 minutes. And so, yeah, rock and roll.
Rock
But
and roll.
that is going to be it for us until next time.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us for the RCR podcast. I am Nick.
I'm Brian. Thank you so much for everybody who donated. You're adding to RCR's travel budget that lets us get out there and visit you guys. As far as upcoming car meets, I think I may try to talk to my old marching band boosters. We are clearly too large for the Schuylkill Racket and Fitness Country Club.
Yeah.
We need to find a new venue for the summer to have a new place to have the car show,
Yeah.
a larger one. Obvious choice is Cabela's. But if I can benefit my old alma mater, all the better.
Yeah.
It may be the case of like, okay, $5 a car. In
Mm,
exchange, we have a big field that will take a while to outgrow. And also, it's for cars. Music kept me sane in school. It's like that Simpsons quote, music is a fire in your belly that comes out of your mouth, so you better stick an instrument in front of it. And for me, the teenage angst was beat out in the form of a bass drum, and I enjoyed that immensely. And it helps build character and takes a whole bunch of weebs and turns them into an effective unit that makes music.
yeah.
And stuff I need to talk to more about, like with Foster. So um, it may be the case that RCR, like the next car meet, may be in a place where it will be pay to enter. But for God's sake, it's a marching band, and we need a lot more of them. They help kids so much
They really do.
that they were way more effective than any counseling and any trips to the guidance office ever was. So yeah, Blue Mountain High School marching band. I hope I'll try to talk to the band boosters. The earlier I get there, the better.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
places we're gonna travel to. Um, I'm doing my Austin trip in a week, but again, that's just for me. If anybody sees me and my dumb hat, please say hi. Um, I'm very approachable. You just say, "Hey, Mr. Regular," and I say hi. Um, another trip for me, but that's me trying to get this marching band together. Uh, that's going to be in Chicago first week of December, I think. That's the drive out. If people see me in my dumb hat, please say hi. That's not exactly an RCR trip, but I will be in the area. I won't be filming cars though. But I'll say hi to Dominic and Mike Steinberg
Oh,
for you.
please do. Yeah,
Um,
good man.
us doing Seattle, it would be neat to fly into Portland. Half of it is that Frederick Knutson drives a Toyota Highlander, and we already know from RCR New
New
Zealand, the
Zealand.
first
Yeah,
one, that a Toyota Highlander does work as a camera car.
yeah, it does.
So we could do like Portland. There's this really nice overlook that overlooks Mount Rainier out there, and it's really super cool. And I kind of want to film out there. I'll have to talk to Fred though to see if he's up for it. Other stuff, I'm going skiing. Like my mind is, as the weather just begins to cool around here, I'm already thinking about skiing. I will be going to Colorado. I'll be in Denver for a little bit before meeting up with some people to go out and ski at Copper Mountain.
Mm.
But big time RCR trips, which your super chats are going for, is RCR Australia in 2021.
Yeah. And one last super chat was not Ben 101. Thank you for 199. And he just wanted to say this podcast late enough for self pleasure. Wink emoji or wink. Yeah.
No problem with you listening to us on our refractory period.
Yeah.
So have a very good night. I'm Brian.
I'm Nick.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Good night, everyone. I shouldn't
You
have
guys
said-
are around for a little bit more. Is this thing please wait. Please wait. There it goes. If you stick your two thumbs like right on the end of your nose and go like this, you get really cold.
Mm.
I do anyway.
I have not.
All right, I am switching off the board here. Where's the knobs? Where's the toggle switches?